Flimsy Windows Creative. Julian Phillips with Tom Luong. October 7, 2018. The Cobalt Migration. Chapter 16. All rights reserved. The Cobalt Migration is a fun science fiction story for families and adults around the world. The story is a fantasy about what if people ever lived in other nearby planets like Mars, the Moon, or moons at planet Jupiter. This week's reading is from Mr. Saragizma of Kampala City in Uganda. With all due respect and dignity of all people, and thank you.
Enjoy the collaboration stories. I am Mr. Saragizma with the Uganda Happy Family Safe House. Feel free to contact us to help us fight the AIDS.
Mr. Saragizma works with Uganda Safe House for survivors of AIDS. From Uganda. So thank you from me, Mr. Saragizma. The Cobalt Migration. Chapter 16. Charles Lincoln Corso was by then the pilot and commander of the Urania II, a spaceship cargo carrier. The ship carried supplies to the moon base. All of the supplies they used at the 4 moon bases must come from Earth. There was no other way. Some needed things at the moon base could be manufactured at the moon, from other materials. They could make oxygen, generated from water. They could grow some indoor foods. Another process they used could convert certain moon soil and lunar substances under the ground, to fuels and energy. The bases also had energy systems, but they depended on fuel and supplies from Earth. So in general, without regular supplies from Earth in spaceships like the Urania II, all the people would need to evacuate as quickly as possible, and leave the moon back to home. But by the time in Charles Lincoln's life, the ships from Earth were reliable and regular. "Maybe I have space sickness," Charles said on the first day of the second week, there at the Earth Star base. "Nothing ever seems quite right sometimes. I hope I am not ill with some disease from another galaxy."
Far away from where he was, but present there with Corso and about 295 others at the moon, at that time, Lisa Hayes, who was known as Lincoln Taden for her work as Iranian property, was skeptical. After all, this pilot, this junk maker, this flight risk of a human being, was not without a reputation. Especially given the not-so-secret affairs of the Jack Giant killer teams working with the space program under Anderson. And Anderson was not a property, and never would be. For one thing, it terrified him, even irrationally. He would never admit it, and as a major general for what once was the U.S. Air Force, it was maybe sensible. The Raelians could only work through a property, such as a channel. But as an intelligent being it was easily only a formality for Lisa. By taking on the role, the space program can actually deal with the creepy sucker. Thus, effectively, Thorvald Valder claimed Lisa was his own personal property, like a lamp or a car or a dog. Yet she was never in his presence or spoke with him at all. There was almost literally no contact. It was all paperwork and bookkeeping. Valder appeared much as a rather odd-looking human being, a mortal man, a lot of a Viking or Nordic warrior, but not particularly bizarre, unless it was the other one. Or the other one. Or unless it was, well, terrifying. So of course the military had a woman do it. A disease from another galaxy? Corso? How about a disease from home? Queely's disease can be transient. So, what? You got pneumonia? You got bird flu? You got meningitis? Better report it, spaceman. Maybe it's my off-world alien blood boiling in this sub-zero. You can always be where it's warm and cozy with me. I don't want to die, Lisa. I mean, Lynn. Or is it? Is it the other and the other and the other? Something in the Earth Channel Raelian relay my dad told me was a joke and as worthless as any actor on a stage playing a role he hates or loathes by force. You know, military. The moon base was successful enough for the two pilots to enjoy themselves. Lynn or Lisa also was not an unknown quality around the moon bases. His team, Ron, Koita, Tom 1 and Tom 2, Smith. But wait a minute, Corso was thinking. Smith? The doctor back at the hospital where it all started with his DNA pharmacy session projecting himself into this very strange and unlikely future? Smith? Dr. Smith, I want out of this dream. Charles Lincoln was thinking, and that was the disaster. He and Lisa were not there on the moon at all, and he was dreaming the entire experience as vividly as death itself, unconscious on a hospital bed, as a hypnotic regression. Smith, the medical doctor on the back ops team. He was also a navigator. Dr. Smith, are you there? Corso activated his interplanet citizen Earth event protocol. A few moments passed. Property haze was showing him a large interplanet cargo container. They already knew what was inside. Then both he and Lisa could hear what seemed to be Dr. Smith's voice, on the helmet comlink system they all used, each individual to the team user. But of course that wasn't possible, given Smith's location in the time stream. Why let that slow them down? Corso? Yes, Charles, I hear you. This is Dr. Kevin Smith, your teammate under Anderson. Coded recognition, monkey. Get me out of this dream, Smith. I can't handle it. I'm ready to pop. The moon is death trap, and your intergalaxy killer is probably here with us, like some sort of chicken fancier on smack. Horse semen my ass, horse piss. Bring me back to normal consciousness now. That's an order. Lisa stopped at the front of the cargo container. It looked much like a common highway long-haul truck or freight module one might see on the long still usable freeways and highways on Earth, or trains and railways. Mother trucker, Corso. What chicken plucker on horse?
What would you respond, if I told you I need you to love me, property Lisa Hayes, or property...
Let me guess. It's a survival thing, essential to our mission.
Trust me, we may die here for lack of love.
Yes, Sir Commander Corso, of course. As you wish, sir. Doctor, far away from where he was, but present there with Corso and about. Dr. Smith.
Happy Family Youth Uganda is an LGBT community organization. Enjoy the collaborate, migration, stories. I am Mr. Isma with the Uganda Happy Family Safe House. Feel free to contact us to help us fight the AIDS variant. I'm working with the Happy Family Youth Uganda as an executive director of the organization. Happy Family Youth Uganda is an LGBT community organization. I'm here to...
In a safe house by Happy Family Youth Uganda Limited and all LGBT organization. I've been here for 1 month now, after a long time of being homeless. And right now we are having a problem of food. We are running short of food. And I'm kindly asking whoever can help us to do, because we cannot stay without food. Thank you.